And we're now joined by Director of the International Resilience Center in Sderot, one of the cities hardly hit by the massacre, Ayelet Shmuel. Ayelet, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you feeling these days? Take me back to the morning of October 7th, seeing the pickup truck full of terrorists in your city.
So I can tell you what other people are saying, because that morning on Saturday, I was actually out of the city. I was in Italy. I went for a conference to represent Sderot. And while I was there, I was hearing all the horrible things that were going on. It started with a rocket attack, and then I got calls from friends telling me that there are terrorists in town, calls from my family that lives in Ashkelon and my son that is there saying that there are terrorists. So I was getting all this information when I was there. I can tell you from the people in the city that it was, you can see some of the images now, it was horrifying. From what we know now, we had roughly 3 or 4 jeeps full of terrorists that came into the city. They spread out throughout time, and they went on a killing spree. They killed anyone that they saw on the street. That was while we were under a heavy rocket attack. And they took over the police station, which they knew was going to be a very strategic area. And then once they had that, it was very hard to get control over the city. So for the first 3 to 4 hours, no one was there. The army wasn't there, and we were able to, this is what's left of the police station, what you're seeing right now, or was left. Now it's completely flat. And during those hours, there were 3 or 4 hours that I guess the city was fighting with the residents that had guns, with the security team from the municipality, and with the policemen that were in the area. So that was all that we had for 3-4 hours, and we ended up having 45 casualties in the city. Many of them were policemen.
Ayelet, I can only imagine what you went through. I remember close to 7 a.m. that morning, I got the images of the first truck. I was sure it was AI. If we're in the area of AI, this is what I thought it was. Can only imagine what you guys went through. Now, currently, the population of Sderot, you told me a city of 36,000 people, many of them evacuated and spread across Israel. What are the plans for the coming period and really for the day after this really ends?
Well, it's really hard to say, right? I mean, I think first we need to understand that the evacuation happened in stages, right? The minute it was safe, and it took a while until it was safe, the minute it was safe, about, I think, the 3rd day, people were evacuating themselves and just leaving the city on their own. And the mayor was pushing for it. If you can leave, leave, because it's not safe. Because there are so many rockets, hundreds of rockets, and the Iron Dome, I think, at this point it doesn't even exist here. So back then we were having a lot of direct hits, and we were having all the shootings. So it was safer to just leave the city. Afterwards, there was a decision that the city can actually start evacuating people, and it is safe. So most of the people have been evacuated to hotels all over the country, right? We have people in Eilat, we have people in Eilat, the Dead Sea, Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, all over. What we know right now is that there's a lot of uncertainty. So we have, I guess, the promise from the government that our people can be in those hotels and still out of the city by until November 2nd. And afterwards, we're going to have to come up with a plan. And from what I understand, no one is going to come back here if it's not safe. So, and the city and the government understand that. So there's a plan right now to figure out what it is that we're going to do, knowing that it's uncertain. So the short-term goal is we're creating small municipalities in every hotel, in every area that we have our people. So they have, services like social services and education and resilience and, mental health support, everything that they need. But it is not easy to run a city where your residents are spread out all across town. And you're seeing the mayor running this operation for 12, 13 days now straight.
Ayelet, we can only hope Sderot will go back to what it was before, even more safe, because you guys have been suffering for so many years. Thank you so much for joining us today, and stay safe.